Hmm. 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 Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Night Alive with me. So happy to be here with you today. Sunday, January 15th, 2023. Oh, we have such a wonderful topic tonight. I love talking about all of this. I've been waiting to talk to you all day long. So, welcome from me to you. I wish I could see your beautiful faces. So, this is Sunday Night Alive. We're here to talk about things that matter, things of the spirit, really, things of practical spirituality. How can we move through life from a deeper place and do it with grace and ease and elegance? That's what we're here to talk about. So, tonight's topic is from because to because. I even like just that part. It's very good, very fun. Um, Always practical metaphysics. But before we get into all of that, let's just create a little bit of community here. So if you're here, say hello. Heather, hello. David, hello. Jan, hello. Oh, well, God, my life's full of favorite people. I actually went down today and spent the morning at the Unity Church in Naples, and for the first time in a year, and it was quite enjoyable, really, seeing old friends, and the campus looks beautiful. So that was wonderful. I hope your week was good as well. So I think I will speak a word of blessing upon us, upon our time together first, just to create a little spiritual atmosphere, a little receptivity from our hearts and our souls and our minds to some word that might shift us into a higher vibration, into a better way of feeling and being. I really do love tonight's topic. Actually, I love all these topics. You know, I was having lunch with people today, and I realized that there's something like I wish in some ways I could just retire. But the truth is, I am compelled to share this teaching because it is so vitally important to each of our well-being and our happiness. It just is. So I don't know how I survived without this way of thinking, and I don't know how anyone does. So I'm happy to continue to share it always. So let's just take a moment, take a deep breath wherever you are, whatever it is you are doing. Just breathe into this moment, breathe into our being together, breathe into right where you are. In truth, there's only this singular moment in time. The past is over there, the future's not here yet. So we are striving to be in the moment, creating happiness and peace and calm and joy and wonder and awe in the moment we're in, every moment. So this one, I simply speak a word for and about each and every one of us within the sound of my voice, calling this moment whole and perfect and complete, knowing that we arrive here open-minded, open-hearted, that we bring to the altar of our being everything so that it may be transmuted into unconditional love. And so I'm grateful for every moment we have together tonight and whatever transpires. And so it is. Amen. So continue to check in. If you're here, continue to check in. I'm just going to take a dive into really our topic tonight, which is to be because or because. The definition, let me give you the definition of because. It is a word that means that identifies the cause of something or the source of something. It explains the reason for something. So we all know how we use it, right? And I'm wanting tonight to introduce you to, the invitation tonight is to give up using the word completely. I want us to stop using the word because. Now, I'm always talking to you about how you and I can live a spiritual life, which is a life that we architect, design, and bring forward, which is ultimately from our point of view, a great life. So, living a spiritually powerful life, in my view, is living what I consider to be a great life. You might not consider it to be a great life, but I do. And you're living your best spiritual life. Your spiritual life of power is ultimately, from your point of view, a great life. For me, it is one which is authentically me, authentically you, has meaning and purpose, and innately one which brings you happiness, peace, and satisfaction. You know, I press up against this idea that any loving God would create us to suffer. That is a non-point in this particular philosophy, faith, and way of life. So if you're suffering, it's not because God wants you to suffer. It's got nothing to do with God. It has everything to do with you and with me and how we come at life. I would categorize this life as one which has, compared to the norm or compared to a previous life you might have experienced, a prior day in your life, one which we are awakened into an expanded state of consciousness and primarily living in the present moment, free and unfettered by past regrets, guilt, or unforgiveness. For me, that is our life of spiritual power. Now, it's something we have to awaken to, because the truth is that we are conditioned to live life from a small I perspective. We are conditioned to live from the ego. We're conditioned to buy into our circumstances. We're conditioned to think we have no power. So, as far as I can tell, it is necessary that you and I awaken to a deeper reality about who we are and who we are in the world. Now, once we awaken, and only once we awaken, we then have choice. Prior to this, whatever it is I'm talking about, prior to that, we are kind of on a hamster wheel of living. Now, awakened, let me define awakening from my perspective as well. Awakened means three things. One is you've had a glimpse of, you are aware of yourself of more than a body or a body of history. You just become aware that you are more. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you all of a sudden go from wherever you were to a belief in God, because God is a very, to me, God is a very mature conversation. And sometimes we have to start at the beginning. But this, just number one, is some idea that there's more to you than this, more than you are not a bag of bones. There's more. That's number one. You become more interested in living from the inside out than living from the outside in, which is to say that you become more from an inner impulse than an outer reaction. And three, I think hopefully, I believe in God. I believe in love. I have been in moments where the presence of love is so transcendent and so moving and so awe-inspiring that I don't know what else to call it. And it definitely is not the patriarchal God of traditional religion. It's definitely not that. But it is real. So my deepest wish for you and I is that we experience that. We experience that kind of unconditional loving presence, that pair of footsteps walking with us along the beach. But in order to live a spiritually empowered life, you don't really need to believe that, and that as so much as you do need to believe that there is a spirit of you, that there is more to you than you ever before thought possible. And thirdly, that you come to believe and accept that we live in a lawful universe, that there are principles which guide our life, that contribute to our life, that we use to build our life and construct our life, whether it's the law of attraction or the law of cause and effect, however you want to word it, that you are a participant. These three things are essential to your awakening. Awakening moves us into choice. Now, when you awaken, you will continue to walk through life exactly the same way as you walk through life before you awaken. It's not like something happens and life gets different. It's not like your mother changes or there's automatically peace in the Middle East, or the Russian war stops. Your becoming awakened doesn't change the walk you walk. But what it does do is change the choices you make as you are walking your walk. Now, the question might be, do I approach my life from the small self or the ego self, or do I approach my life from my spiritual self or my spirit? Because your ego and your spirit are two completely different paradigms of living. Now, because the word because is of the ego and lives in the realm of that small self. Well, I'll explain that more in a moment. And being cause is of the spirit and lives in the realm excuse me, of your spiritual self. So the opposite of being, by the way, being at cause, is being at the effect. So because the word because lives in the realm of effect. So here's how it shows up in our lives. And really, and always remember that when I'm talking to you, there is never any judgment. There is never any, it's better to be awake than asleep. There's never any better. It's better to live from the spirit. It's not better. There's none of that ever. There's no defensiveness needed when we talk about these things, whether you're living from because or being cause. It really doesn't matter in the scheme of things, but it does matter to you. And it does matter to me from the standpoint that I know that we have the ability to co-create a life that we really like. And when we do that, we can co-create a world that we really like as well. So because shows up for us in the definition earlier, it shows up for us. I'm going to bring it back up for a minute. It's a conjunction that identifies the cause of something. It explains the reason for something. Now, many of us, until we awaken into the deeper truth of our being, because it's used as an explanation. So in its kind of more basic form, I would say that you either have the life you want, whether it's your relationships, your money, your health, your body, like you have a life you love, a life that excites you and enthuses you and inspires you, or we have the reasons we don't. And the reasons live as a because for us. Now, just take what's useful to you here. Because it shows up like, well, I'd have a better job with more money, but I can't because I didn't go to college. Or I'd have a better relationship, but I can't because my husband's a jerk. Or I'd lose those 5 pounds, but I can't because everybody keeps throwing sweets in front of me. The problem with this word is it diminishes our responsibility and accountability. It diminishes our power in the moment to choose. It diminishes our ability to take ownership for our life. And above all else, to walk in an awakened state of being requires that we take ownership for all of it. I love the work. There's a white paper out written by, I'm not going to remember his name. Michael C. Jensen and Werner Erhard collaborated out of Stanford a paper called The 4 Ways of Being for a Great Life in a Great Organization. It really was intended to speak to leaders of organizations on how they can be more effective. And one of the four causes of being, one of the four ways of being, the second was to be cause in the matter. I'm going to read you an excerpt from that. So he says, by being cause in the matter, we mean being cause in the matter of everything in life as a stand you take on yourself in relationship to your life, and acting as if that were true. To take the stand that you were cause in the matter contrasts with it being your fault, or that you would blame or shame or assign the reason for your life to anyone else. It's number one. So being cause says being cause as opposed to because acknowledges that you are a powerful spiritual being with the right responsibility and privilege to co-create your life. Now, it is true that we haven't always known this, and it's true that nobody told you you could do that. So most of us arrive in adulthood at the effect of circumstances, conditions, people, places, and things. Most of us land up in adulthood victims of our circumstances and not powerful co-creators. But the awakening process invites us to wake up to that, oh my God, I have more power than I ever dreamt possible. This is good news. I have the ability to take responsibility for all of it, my parents, my childhood. Now, he says, it is not true that you are the cause of everything, which means you didn't make your parents beat you. You didn't cause that sexual misconduct. You didn't choose poverty. Understand, it's not he says it's not true that you were the cause of everything. But it is an option to stand in the place declaring that you are the cause, so that it removes you from moving through life as a victim. He says, in their words, in this white paper, it says, being cause in the matter means you give up the right to be a victim. When you have taken the stand or declared that you are the cause of in the matter of your life, and why not be the cause of the matter in your life? It means that you give up the right to assign cause to the circumstances or to others. I hope you're catching in consciousness the importance of this conversation, because the depth of it. That is, you give up the right to be a victim, and at the same time, taking the stand does not prevent you from holding others accountable or responsible. So we live in a lawful universe, and I've talked about this incessantly for decades. In fact, most of you, I'm surprised you're still here. You've been listening to me forever, and it's the same old, kind of the same old. But it's important to understand that there is only our thoughts, our words, our contemplations, and the universe responding. There's only us co-creating our lives. We are peopling our universe with who and what we are. I found a beautiful quote, this week by Plotinus, which, by the way, this is 204 after Christ died. So this is not new thought, woo-woo stuff. This is principle, because he says, I contemplate, and as I contemplate, I let fall the forms of my thought. This is the manner in which nature creates. So essentially, I contemplate, and as I contemplate, I think, and as I think, I let the forms of my thought fall. That is so incredibly beautiful, because it simply means I am the one doing the thinking. Now listen, rocks do not think, even though God is everywhere, and all that there is of God. Rocks are made out of God, are imbued with the divine substance, the same way as tigers and flowers. You and I are different. You and I have consciousness. You and I have volition. Same word as choice. We can choose. So if we choose to feel puny and victimized and oh woe's me and I can't have what I want and it's all because of my parents or it's because the world or the news, it's the world's gone to hell in a handbasket, we can choose that. And when we choose that, it will be reflected back to us. But we don't have to choose that. You can declare, you can, Reverend Claudia used a beautiful word today. She said decree. You can decree, I, right where I'm standing today, take full responsibility for the entirety of my life and will no longer be a victim to it and give up my happiness, my peace, and my joy. Does that mean you let people off the hook? In a way, but more important, you let yourself off the hook so you don't have to feel victimized. You don't have to feel like you have no power because you do. Another quote I've always loved is Einstein's, who says, essentially, I want to know God's thoughts. The rest are details. You might have already heard this quote before, but I'm going to give it a little new meaning, a little spin tonight on this. I want to know God's thoughts. The rest are details. He's pointing to this idea, actually reinforcing my thoughts, that the first cause, and we have to talk about causation here, because when we say because, that the first originating cause is God. Whatever you want to say about that. In the beginning was the Word. God said, let there be light, there was light. God said, let there be people, there were people. God said, let there be animals, there were animals. That there is a first cause that is behind everything. You, as a spiritual being and not a rock, have within you the power of your word or the power of your contemplation. And what follows next from there are the details of that contemplation. Now, we don't like this because if we don't like the details, then we think it's somebody else's fault, right? We think it's our parents' fault. I don't like the details of my life, so you change and then I'll have different details. And what Einstein is saying is, I want to know your thoughts because your thoughts are creating. And the details are irrelevant. What's relevant are the thoughts. What's relevant is what's behind the thoughts. So most of us, so I'm going to go a little teensy deep here, but just kind of hang in there with me. Most of us create from conditions rather than create from first cause. What that looks like is this. So primary causation is the spirit within you making declarations and then living into those declarations. I will be happy. I am going to be a loving person. I will attract to me the community and the friendships I need. I will earn the money I need to survive. These are declarations, different than I can't because. We want to give up the because. We actually want to give up the why as well. I can't make the money I need to make, and the reason is this. You don't know the reason. There's no reason. It's just details. Those are details. If you change the cause, you change the details. I want to give you a term tonight, which is secondary causation. Secondary causation means when you use an effect as a cause. All right. So, are you with me still? Are you with me? Yes. A secondary causation would be something like this. I can't sell my house because the real estate market's bad. Or I can't get a job because I don't have a college degree. Or I can't find a good partner because there just aren't any good women out there. When you say, I can't sell my house because the real estate market is bad, you've made the real estate market is a effect in and of itself. Because remember, we're not here by ourselves. So we are in a collective consciousness, and enough people agree that the real estate market is bad. Guess what happens? Because it's lawful. If you have 100 people who say, "Whoa, the real estate market's really terrible," and we all agree the real estate market's really terrible, what must follow? A terrible real estate market. I so want you to hear this. So because we can go back to the beginning, can declare that even though there may be an agreement that the real estate market is terrible, and there may be some evidence that the real estate market is terrible, which of course there will be because evidence follows consciousness, you can say the perfect buyer is looking for my house right now, and I'm going to sell my house easily, effortlessly for the amount of money that I want when I want it. And you can bypass that whole negative perception, or let's not even label it, that whole perception, and go for what can happen, because in God all things are possible. There is nothing impossible for the universe to give to you. Nothing. Nothing. You want love, the universe will give you love. You want money, the universe will give you money. You want to sell your house, and it's only through our own limiting thinking that we can't actually live in life manifesting that way. So as we move through, so the takeaway tonight, the lesson tonight is to listen to yourself, because we must come. The awakened means that as you're moving through life, because remember, life doesn't change just because you've had a spiritual awakening. And that spiritual awakening is threefold. You understand yourself to be spirit, not just an ego, but spirit. You know yourself to be connected to everything. And listen, by the way, when I say connected to everything, this is how you're connected. When you say, I'm not at the effect of what everyone else is saying about the real estate market, I refuse to be at the effect of what everyone else is saying, I'm going to sell my house. Your mental state reaches out, touches everyone. So real estate agents can find you in consciousness, buyers can find you in consciousness, because we are interconnected. And we are reflecting back to each other and as a whole what we are contemplating. I want to give you that quote again. I contemplate, and as I contemplate, I let fall the forms of my thought. This is the manner in which nature creates. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful quote. So how you can begin is become aware. Become aware when you're assigning blame or cause to something outside of yourself. That you would be happy if it weren't for your mother-in-law. I'd be happy, but I can't because my mother-in-law is blah, 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 blah. I can't be happy because those people are doing that, or this person said that. I can't be happy because, well, I've just never been happy. We are so much the conglomerate of what has been laid on us, what we've been absorbing our entire lifetimes. And what we've been absorbing is not the spiritual truth. We've been absorbing the truth of the ego. And the ego's job, I'm telling you, is to keep you puny. So in order to transcend, we must awaken. Now, as you move through life, which is going to, your mother-in-law is not going to change because you've had an aha moment. You will have to choose. Are you going to live from because, or are you going to live as if you are cause in the matter? And I'm telling you that if you will choose the spiritual path, you will have more success. And I'm not talking about material success. I'm talking about emotional success, happiness success, peaceful success. You will feel more authentic, because we were not created to be puny, miserable, who Shoot, I should have found this reading for us tonight about, I can't remember the author, the poet who wrote that we walk around like little clods of ailments. And it's so not who we are. We are meant to glorify life. And it's possible. It is. No matter where you are, no matter how down you are, no matter how depressed you are, no matter what's happened to you, no matter who you've lost, no matter what you've lost, there is another moment. There's a moment. There's a resurrection that can happen where you realize that you are powerful, and that through your intentional thinking, your intentional creating, your intentional contemplation, that life can begin to change for you. And it may take a minute, but it's so worth the journey. So that is our lesson. Nobody can do it for you, but you can awaken on your own. You can begin the path. So, so fun, right? Why not have fun with this? And if you don't have the faith yourself, you can lean into me, because I got enough of it for all of us. I really do. So let's see if I've given you everything I'm meant to give you. So because lives in the realm of the ego, cause lives in the realm of the spirit. If you listen, if you find that you need support on this journey and you want to, I do some spiritual coaching as part of my work and as part of my ministry. If you are interested in spiritual coaching, which to get you over a hump, or to try to figure out a little bit move past pathology, please just reach out and talk to me. You can do that through this email, or you can do it through my website. Also, I'm going to, don't leave me yet, because I'm going to do an affirmative prayer for us. I wanted to give you next week's topic, which I'm also excited about. This is next week. Unclutter your garage and your consciousness. Yikes. So another very, very, very fun topic. Unclutter your consciousness. So that's next Sunday. I also am finishing up, well, not finishing up, we're on week 6 of Life of Power Keys. So this week on Tuesday night, we're going to be talking about understanding that the universe is neutral. Also a very deep conversation about the neutrality of the universe, which essentially means nothing's good and nothing's bad. So join me on Tuesday night at 6 p.m. if you're interested in that. And if you get value out of our being together and you want to make a love offering to my ministry, you can do that through my website at deniseschubert.com/donations, or through PayPal or Zelle at revdschubert@gmail.com. And I always appreciate your love offerings and your gifts. So I think that's it for the evening. It's been such a pleasure to be with you. I just love. This means more to me. So let's pray out. So join me in a moment of affirmative prayer where we anchor in consciousness that which we've been talking about. Because remember, change your thinking, change your life. Shift your consciousness, shift your results. If you want it to be different, be different. So turn within with me for a moment into that secret, sacred place within you that's always been there, that's never not been there. We may have not been aware of it, but it has always been aware of you. And so we lean into this, the spiritual nature of our being, the home and the dwelling place of the divine that is inside our very physical body and our emotional body, our consciousness. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So God is everywhere present, never absent. And I know that it is this golden thread that connects us to each other, connects us to all beings everywhere, that makes us part of all that is. And that we live here, we are here by divine appointment, we're here by choice. We chose to incarnate so that we can express and experience the mystical, magical, awe-inducing wonder of this realm of existence, this physical experience of tasting and touching and smelling and feeling. And we do this through the presence of living by spiritual principles, the law of attraction, the law of cause and effect, the law of mental equivalence, the law of growth. And so I speak my word into this molecule moving principle. I speak a word for and about each one of us, knowing that this week, as we move into our week, that we are anchored in our spiritual awakening. We're anchored in our awareness that we are spiritual beings. We're awakened in our awareness that we are connected to everything. And we're awakened to our ability to use these principles to improve our life conditions and circumstances and situations. So I call forth more love. I call forth more peace. I call forth more creativity, more intentional living. I call forth more forgiveness for letting the past be the past, for not worrying about the future so much, living in the present moment, relishing our beauty and our magnificence. It's the truth about who we are. You are whole, you are perfect, and you are complete now. Nothing missing, nothing absent, nothing needs to be added. And so it is in that perfection that we leave our time together in celebration, knowing that truly all is well. We are at peace in our souls. And so for all of the blessings that we gave tonight and all that we got, I give thanks. We let it be. And so it is. Amen. Namaste. All right, beloveds, I will see you Tuesday or Sunday or somewhere in between. Peace and blessings to you.